What's up, guys? Knicks Daily here back. Today we're going to be talking about Tyus Jones potentially signing with the Knicks in free agency. He would be a starter. I don't really see him leaving Memphis unless he gets promoted to being a type of player that runs the offense full time. I mean, you have to understand that, well, for one, Tyus Jones per 100 possessions, the Grizzlies outscored their opponents by 7.2 points, and that's without John Morant, of course. We know that Tyus, if you put the right players around him, if you put talent around him, he can be an NBA caliber starter. He shot 39% from three this season. He keeps defenses guessing. He never turns the ball over. There's just one of the craziest stats you'll probably see today. So Tyus is just 6 foot, which doesn't matter at all, being real with you. But take a look at this stat right here. So he is now the only player in league history to post an assist rate above 25 with a turnover percentage below 8 in the same season per stat head. Obviously, he's had the highest assist to turnover ratio the past like 4 or 5 years, I want to say. I do cover the Grizzlies over at Grizzlies Kingdom. I picked them up in January, and man, was that a huge W. I've just been learning about the team, the culture, and I've seen Tyus Jones play every game. I've seen every Knicks game, every Grizzlies game since January. Actually, I've seen every Knicks game pretty much like the whole year, but for the Grizzlies specifically, since January. And I do believe that Tyus Jones would be great for the Knicks. I did make a I didn't make a video on this, but I talked about him in my like 10 point guards that the Knicks could sign this offseason. Basically, why I like Tyus Jones so much is because you can put him next to R.J. Barrett. You can put him next to Emmanuel Quickley. You can put him next to Obi Toppin. He's just going to make everyone better. He doesn't turn it over. He can knock down the three ball. He's quick. He just knows how to run an offense. Like, there's not many backup point guards that can fill in for, especially for a guy like John Morant, and just continue to play well. I mean, the Grizzlies at times look better with Tyus Jones out there than they do John Morant. And sure, Tyus Jones will never be a star. He's not going to be an all-star. He's not going to be the sexiest signing. I don't think a lot of Knicks fans are going to be too thrilled with signing Tyus Jones because then they know to that point that there's no star. If you sign Tyus Jones, you're not getting a Damian Lillard. You're not getting a Kyrie Irving. Not that we were anyway, but still, I mean, the Knicks don't need a Damian Lillard or a Kyrie Irving. They need someone that can come in, knock down shots, play hard defense, maybe push it in transition a little bit because R.J. Barrett is better going downhill. Obi Toppin likes to run. Mitchell Robinson's fast. Yeah, sure, Julius Randle is not that type of guy, which is why we need to – I still get comments every day about why we need to keep Randle, and I just don't get it. I don't care if he had one bad season. Even if Julius Randle, like, if he comes back and even if he does play like an all-star, he doesn't really fit our scheme. Like, we're trying to push it. And that's how the Knicks need to play. They need to play faster. They need to have a point guard that can finish down low. And Tyus Jones certainly does that. He's got an amazing floater game. And if you guys don't believe me, then go watch the Grizzlies play because, hey, in Game 4, they lost by, 3 points? And then last night, they ended up winning by 39. And let's look at Tyus Jones' stats. And by the first, couple of minutes, this man had 4 assists. I mean, he's just unbelievable, bro. But Tyus Jones last night had 21 points, 9 assists on 8 of 12 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 3 rebounds. He gave you 2 steals and a block, plus 39. I mean, Tyus Jones is just exactly what the Knicks need. And they're going to have to pay up to get him. He's going to be the starter. And I know, again, people are going to be like, well, hey, hang on a second here. Emmanuel Quickley just had a great end of the season, and we're bringing in Tyus Jones. Well, Tyus Jones and Emmanuel Quickley is perfect. Because if Emmanuel Quickley does end up just looking like a star next season, I mean, you could play Quickly and Tyus Jones together, and you'd have to get RJ in there, and Cam would have to come off the bench because we'd have Toppin and Mitch. I don't really know how it's going to work, but that's kind of like my point here is that there's no pressure at all for Tyus Jones. I mean, he's playing in New York. That's really the only pressure, but outside of that, it's like he's just going to come in. He's going to have some really good guards next to him that are young and Quickly. Like Bryant, obviously. You've got R.J. Barrett. I'm sure the Knicks are going to draft another probably shooting guard. So it's just the Knicks definitely could use Tyus Jones because of his efficiency. He doesn't really demand too much. Whenever he has the ball in his hands, good thing happens. I mean, I don't know, man. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this. But outside of that, there hasn't really been much chatter with the Knicks. I mean, obviously the playoffs are going on, so it's expected, but I'll quickly go through the news. So we could look at some free agent priorities. There's also, there's some buzz. I'll get into that in another video. I don't really want to talk about rumors right now. But yeah, let me know if you guys would like to sign Tyus Jones. And there's an article that came out by the New York Post saying that Tyus Jones is just a backup plan for Brunson. Like, I'd rather have Tyus Jones than I would Jalen Brunson. I mean, you guys want to pay Jalen Brunson $25 million a year? He's not going to take the Knicks to a different level. Sure, they might make the playoffs, but we can sign Tyus Jones for significantly cheaper. And hey, Tyus Jones, I think that's better value. Depending, I'd have to look at the contracts, but I mean, Tyus Jones, it's clear that the Grizzlies might be playing better with him than John Morant for a reason. He's just extraordinarily good with the ball in his hands, and he doesn't really demand it because he can spot up like 39% from three this season. I believe he's 35.5 or something like that, off the top of my head, for his career. But yeah, dude, Tyus Jones to the Knicks just makes all the sense in the world. I would love him next to RJ Barrett. Just someone that can knock down shots, that can space the floor, can get it into RJ's hands, and of course he has. Tyus have a lot of playoff experience. He was with the Wolves. Who else? I mean, I don't know if he has like too much playoff experience, but he is a veteran. Of course, he came out of Duke. Good player, good talent. I think he fit the Knicks well. Big difference though for him going from Memphis all the way over to New York too. That's kind of crazy. I mean, the smallest market to the biggest market. Wow,